Okay, folks. Um, I was asked to do a video or instructional or something on the mud, applying mud and stuff to aircraft. Um, First of all, all the credit goes to Anoff. He originally came out with this kit for the 172 quite a while ago, and has just expanded on it. If you want a great reference, you should download this and take a look at it. He's got all the layers set up in Photoshop to do the mud on almost any livery that you want to put on the 172, and it serves as a good reference on how to set up your files and all the way down to the tires and everything. It's all covered in here. So that would be a good starting point to take a look at and see how he's got that file structure set up. I just expanded on that, and I've been working on different aircraft in practice getting up to the Wilga. Wilga was a little more of a challenge because of the styling of the fuselage and so forth. So anyways, I'll try to cover that. I just wanted to show you this. So a good download from Flight Sim 2 to check that out. I'm going to close out of that. Okay. You should already know how to do things in Photoshop or 2D programs. Basically what I've done is I've gone in and I've created brushes. You can download some free mud brushes, which is what I got here, and you see I don't have quite all the white cleaned out of here in spots, but this is I set up two sides, one for the left, one for the right. You don't need these because if you use the symmetry tool, it'll do both sides, but I like to have it in case I want to go in and fill or fix or something of that nature. So I've got those two sides. I've got two different bottoms. This is a full bottom set of the bottom of the fuselage, or you can use it for the top of the fuselage, although I doubt you get that much mud on the top of the fuselage. But again, you can see there's still quite a bit of white here that hasn't been separated out. Go back in here. Here's the other bottom setup. And the reason I like to go in and use the brushes in Photoshop is because you see the different texturing and the fading in and out that you would, and the different colorings that you get on different mud spots. So just giving you an idea here and showing you what you're looking at. I've also set up just a big old blotch template that I can bring in with different pieces on it, and I can use that for different areas of the aircraft. And I have a four-piecer right here that I set up with four different sets of mud that I can use to go in and go like around the struts and on the steps and things like that I can apply, or if I got a big gaping hole or something that I need to patch up, I can use that also. So these are my brushes I got set up. I don't know. Let me take a look in here real quick. I'm using Photoshop Beta. I've got the regular Photoshop, but some interesting stuff coming out with the AI and stuff in Photoshop. But just give you an idea what's going on here. This is the different layers that I've got set up when I built this. I can go in and exit and get rid of any one of these and do whatever I want to. But that's just how I initially set up and built my brush set. Hopefully that'll give you an idea of what you can do. So let me close out of here. No, I don't want to save. I've already got Belender open. If you're at this level of doing paint stuff on an aircraft, you should already know how to do all the other stuff in Belender to get to this point. Some of you may not know this is Got Friends paint kit. And what I did was I went in, and if you don't know how to already do this, if you were to select, say, the fuselage, and you only wanted to work on just this back half of it, not the front half, you could go in here to click your fuselage, which when Got Friends paint kit initially comes in, it's got all the tires and wheels, and it's all part of that one set, and everything's together. But if you go into select your component, go into modeling, you probably don't even have to do that, but I'm already pretty much separated here. But if you select all, and if you go over and go from object mode into edit mode, and then you right click on the screen and go down here to where it says separate, you'll have two different options here: separate by material and separate by loose parts. In this particular case, you'd want to separate by loose parts, and that's going to separate all of the fuselage components, wheels, tires, and all that stuff, and then you can go and hide those. The H key will hide. I think it's Alt H or Control H will bring those parts back. But that's just something you should know if you're going to be messing around with different parts and stuff. Let's see. I don't know if this is already... Let me find out real quick. I can always go back. Object mode, edit mode. I'm already there. Right click. I'm going to go down here and click on separate, and I'm going to separate by loose parts. And if I go back out to edit mode, let's see, go into layout. Alright, I should be able... Yeah, see, now I can click on these individual components and parts that are on the front end. This fuselage is all separated now. So if I wanted to hide any one thing, I just hit the H key and hide. I think there's a Control H that'll bring it back. Nope. Shift H. I get all confused. That got rid of everything. Undo. Edit, undo. And I'm gonna undo and get back to where I was at. There's a whole list of command keys out there that you can download. I don't have mine available right now. I should, but how far back have I got to go here? Control Z, Z. All right, nope. Control Z, 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 Z. All right, that should put me back to where I'm at. Click it once. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're back to the start. Now, I've already done basically this part of it. If you'll notice, I set up a template to where everything's white. That I took basically all the UVs and turned everything pure white. There's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that a little later. I may have to put this into two different segments, but anyways, I already have this done. I just thought I'd save some time and use this. This part is set up now. Because this fuselage is rounded at the bottom, when your template comes over the sides, it's going to want to elongate some of these spots. Well, if you think about it, mud hits something that's going to be wet, it's going to roll down. In fact, if you want to get right down to reality, a lot of these mud spots would just smear down the side of the fuselage. And if you want to do that, you want to get that kind of a detail and smear it down, and, you know, it depends on the level of reality that you want to get to. This does present some issues. You could hide the steps and come back later, or hide the struts and things like that. But I just went ahead and brought in my template, and I painted the sides. And then what I did after that, if you use the number keys, so here's 3, that gives you a perfect side view. If you go to 1, turns around front. 1, if I go to 7, it gives me the top, and if I go to 9, it gives me the bottom, and if I go back to 7, you get the idea. If you use the number keys and you don't use this to move around, none of the sizing changes, so you can keep using the template without messing things up. As far as template goes, if I go down here to this little checkerboard down on the very bottom right hand side over here where it says texture, if you can see that where my arrow's pointing, and click on that, I'm going to go to next. Let's see, I need to be in, let's go to layout, let's go to texture paint, make sure I'm in the right place here. Now I'm going to go down to new, open, and on my desktop I've got my brushes. I'm going to open up my brushes, and let's just say, for the sake of playing around, I'm going to bring in this set here. Alright. Now you see them show up here and it's double. Don't worry about it. You should be familiar with that type of thing. I'm going to go back up here to the wrenches, and I'm going to go down to texture, click on texture, go down to the tile, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to stencil. Now my stencil is going to show up, and I can move that stencil around wherever I want to. Now, if I was doing the side, say I had it here, and I wanted my stencil to show up in both places. Let's say I move it up here. If I go down to my, well, let's just leave it the way it is. If I just click on this and fill this guy, and then I go to 1, is it 1, 7? Get my bearings here. 9. There we go. It's not on this side. You see, it's not there. It's not over on this side. It's just on the one side. So let's see. Escape. I should be able to do this without having problems. Let's see. I'll go back to 3. I'm going to go Control Z. Control Z. Take me back to where I don't have anything. Alright, and I got rid of the stencil, so I'm gonna have to go back and bring my stencil back in because I went too far. Control Shift C. Yeah, brought it back. Okay. Now bring it back over here. Now if I bring this up and put it into place, it's hard to see, but I'm right up here underneath the wing. And if I go down here to symmetry, and I turn on the X symmetry right here, and now if I paint this in place, hit let's see, was it 7? There, 9. Now it's painted on both sides. So that just, if I bring it up here, I've lost my continuity on my sides, but you can see it's on both sides of the aircraft. Swing back around. No, 9. Alright. Control Z. I'm going to back out of this. Bring my template back in. And I'll go back down here and make sure that symmetry is turned off because I don't want to do the symmetry anymore. But now I can use this stencil, and I can go up here and I can swing the fuselage down. I've got my symmetry off. Maybe there should be some right here on the back of this. So I'll come up here and let's see. I'll use this one right here. Just add a little bit onto here. Now I can swing it around and see here it kind of drapes over the side. Bring it back in. This is where it kind of gets interesting if you want to mold things and make them look right. This don't look too bad. It looks like it could be realistic. I'll go around the other side, yeah. But sometimes you get them, it drops off like right here. See if I can focus up on here. You see where it drops off? There's definitely a line there where stuff is dropped off. What I can do is I can take that template and I could enlarge things a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to enlarge my template. Bring that over here. Kind of enlarge that to where it's pretty close. And I can just hit it right there. And that's pretty close. I mean, if you're looking at that close, most people aren't going to look that close to it. But I mean, I could add a little bit here. It's up to you how much detail you want to get into this thing. I tried to get everywhere that I think mud would splash up, and I'm playing around in big old mud holes, so I wanted some big mud spots on here. So you get the general idea. But it's all about these templates, building these templates up, and then applying them to a pure white template. And as it shows over here to the side, when you do the wings, same thing. Let's see. I'm going to go 3, 9. How about 7? There we go. Let's flip it over. 179. There we go. I'm going to get rid of this stencil, and let's go down here and bring in new open desktop. Go to my brushes, and I want this guy right here. This is my wing strip template, so I'll bring that in again. Back up here. Gonna go back down and change it to stencil. It's already there. Good, shows up. Bring this up in. Size it to where size dummy. Alright, bring that up here. That's now imagine where that wheel's at and move that around. You could even get it a little bit smaller probably in here. And now remember, you got two. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Am I gonna do that? No. Oh, that's why. Go to layout. Click on the wings. Go to texture paint. Now she'll paint. All right. Now because the wings are grouped, I'm getting a good pairing on the ailerons as well. One of the problems that you run into, and let's see, while I'm here, let's move this over to the other side. About the same place maybe. And what I could do if I wanted to get a different pattern, I could switch this around upside down and then bring that up and paint that in. Now that gives me a whole different pattern, so it looks different. Pull that house to the side. It's not quite as. Let's see if I can get some other in there. Oh, that don't look too bad. All right, I'm done with. I'm not going to use the stencil anymore. I'm done with the stencil, so I'm getting rid of the stencil. Now what I want to do. You notice how rigid that lines looks on the side. You never get anything like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my. Let's see, I'm here. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to set my brushes set to, let's see. I'm going to get ready to display my UVs over here. I'm going to make sure that I've got the exact same whiteness. So I've sampled that. And then I can use my brush. Let's get up nice and close. Come back in here. I'm going to go up to my top here, and I'm going to change my fall off to this little staple looking thing, so I've got straight edges, because I want to be able to pick out certain areas. Now if I pop that, it's gone. I could do the same thing right in here, get rid of some of this. I don't want these hard edges here. Let's see, let's take this down a little bit. This is a little bit more difficult. You kind of got to play with it, maybe round those edges off a little bit. Just go into the sides. Make the brush a little bit smaller. Pop in there. Just play with that a little bit. I'll get rid of these two right here. These, let's just get rid of that whole bit right there. Alright, might get rid of a little bit here so it doesn't look so squared off. Definitely here, that's too square. Around the front up in here. I could just get rid of this whole little section right here. Anyways, you should get the idea what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make it look a little bit more realistic. This is where it's you could say it's a little tedious coming in here and do this, but already that edge looks a little bit more natural. I could get rid of a couple more pieces in here. Maybe that one. A whole section in here. Get rid of that. Get rid of all this square stuff over here. I'm getting real close to my edge here, so that's why my brush is hanging up. This is where you know, you start trying to make things look a little more realistic. You can't just, I mean, you can if you want to just throw the stencil in there, but if you want to get it and make it look realistic, just go in and doctor it. I just get rid of this whole thing. So already I'm trying to get rid of that line, that definite line in there, get rid of some of this stuff. I did the same thing on the fuselage here, but you should get the picture, get the idea of what's going on. The fuselage, where you have some problems when it drapes over the side here, you're going to have to, you can see where some of these are stretched. I got rid of most of the stuff along this line and then came in with individual templates and filled in. Same way, and I still got some areas that's a little bit problem on the steps here because it's slatted, and trying to get the mud and stuff in there to look right on those slats was a little difficult. But it's all done with the stencils. So hopefully you get the idea. The best thing is to start out with a new model, make yourself some stencils and come in here and just play. There's a little bit too much up here I don't like. If it don't look right, it's probably not going to look right in game. So get it now. Adjust things down. You know, they don't look the same on both sides. That's what I was shooting for. Maybe I got a little bit too much here on the legs, the struts, but you can do the same thing. If I go back into layout and go to the struts, get the fuselage, come back into texture paint, maybe I could get rid of this spot right in here, and maybe that's too much there. And then I could bring in that other stencil and put some smaller splashes and stuff in there. But there you go. That gets you into your sets. Now I have a fuselage set, and I could take this image right now the way it is, and I'm going to go click on the image. Don't go over here and click on the file, because then you save the whole. You should know that by now. I'm just going to click on image. I'm going to save as. I'm going to save it to the desktop, and we'll get fuselage is just fine. Save. It should show up over here, and there we go. Now I'll go click on this little mount window right here, and I know I've also got the let's see, I got the wing. So I'm going to click on the wing, and yep, there's an exclamation mark next to it, so, or asterisk. I'll go ahead and click on that, save as, and wait a minute, cancel. Why'd you show up red? I'd save that image and save as, go to the desktop. Alright, there we go. We'll get external wing, yeah, and save image. Boom. I am basically done with Blender. I hope that gives you an idea of what you can do with the stencils. Maybe this is a little bit too much for some. I like it. I imagine myself up in backwoods North Country. It's just rain and there's mud all over the place and stuff. So it's my fantasy. So anyways, I'm just trying to show you how to add and play with the stencils. So I'm going to go ahead and just close out of Blender. I've saved my files. I don't need to do any more here, and I don't need the brushes anymore. Now comes the fun part, kind of. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open up, let's see. Let me go into one of my deals here. Let's go to the community add-ons. I'll go down here to liveries. Go down here to the Wilga. Let's take, let's see, this is the old bare metal. Let's go to this guy. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to go to, let's see, I've got them in here. So, if I go down here and I open up my fuselage, albedo, alright, and you're going to make me do this, aren't you? Yep, okay. Okay, now this is just a bare metal that I did. It's actually one of 270's plates that I modified a little bit. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to check up here and make sure that what size my image has at. I got 56 by 56, so that's in inches. Let's go to pixels. 4096 by 4096. Okay, so my fuselage plate, I'm going to open with Photoshop. And my fuselage plate size is, make sure they're the same, 4096 by 4096.72. So that's the important part. Make sure that they're the same exact size. And you can either do this when you transfer it over or do it right here. But I think what I'll do is just go ahead and transfer it over. I'm going to select all. And then edit and copy, and then I'm going to go over here to the fuselage and edit, and I'm going to do a paste special and paste in place. Alright, now I haven't tried this. I'm going to try it real quick and see what happens. I'm going to go to multiply, and if you see, I've changed this layer to multiply, so the white's gone, and you notice there's all my let's see. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Things have changed a little bit. This is a beta version of the new. You should be enlarging, but you're not. I wanted to focus, bring the focus in, but it's not the usual. Tools aren't working. I guess I'm going to have to do this guy. Bring it in that way. But there's all my mud. And I really didn't do anything to this plate. That's one way of applying it. You could, if you wanted to, if I go back to this, change it back to normal. And what I could do is I could go here and select, do a color selection, select by color, and I'm going to select all the white. Okay, and I don't know if I can do that as well. Let's try it. I selected the black and I selected the white, and I'm going to go OK. And then if I go delete, alright, it's all gone. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my base layer. Right. There's all my mud. I've isolated the mud out. And again, I don't like what's going on here. Oh, there we go. Now we're in. If you'll notice, this looks pretty close. It looks like I got all the white out of there. You want to go up and focus really in detail and make sure you got all that white out. There might be some areas that there's still some white. I'm going to turn the base back on, and again, I want to, no, that's moving it. I don't want to do that. Edit, undo, level, visibility, edit, and redo. Alright, everything looks okay. So if I select and deselect, there's a little bit of white shown in there, but it may look fine when it gets into, yeah. So this should look fine if you go in game, but now you have a problem. This is metal. So if I go here now to the so you go down here to the comp, and if you look at this, all that stuff is going to show up shiny over the top of the mud. Now when mud first got on there and it's nice and wet, it might be glossy and stuff, but when that mud dries, it's going to be flat, no color at all. So you need to adjust the comp file as well. What I can do now is I can go back into my fuselage layer. I can turn this guy off, and I can go here. I'm going to select all, edit, copy. I'm going to go back into the comp, and I'm going to go edit and paste special, paste it in place. Okay, now there's all my mud. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go to my selection tool and select everything that's not mud. Okay, then I'm going to select inverse. And so the only thing that should be selected now is the mud. I can go turn the background layer on, turn this layer off, make sure I'm on my background layer. In fact, I'll just go ahead and change this to a 0 layer. Come back up here. Now, all the mud area has been selected. I'm going to go up here, and I'm in Photoshop. You should be able to do this in GIMP and maybe other programs. You just have to find out a way to do that. I could go into channels and adjust it out that way. But I'm going to go up here and go to Image, Adjust Hue Saturation. And with Hue Saturation, I could make a copy and copy this onto another layer if I was going to make adjustments and stuff, and then adjust it that way. But I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this layer to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to colorize. I'm going to try to start getting this guy closer to yellow. Maybe right in here. Throw the red all the way up. There's yellow. That would probably do it. I can adjust it here lighter or darker, but a good yellow right here, not too much orange in it. You want to keep some in there. It's gonna give you different shades in different area, which is a little bit more realistic. And I'm going to select that OK. I kind of like that right there. It may not be perfect. It may not be totally scientific. But this is how I do a lot of my comp files. I can, like I said, go into channels and I go down here to the green, and I can adjust things out, or I can play with the channels here and get this absolutely perfect. But to me, this will work, and it should work fine. So I'll go back to layers. And at this point, I could get rid of that layer, select, deselect, get rid of this layer, because if you keep this layer in there and you try to save this comp file, it's going to mess it up because it's seeing this other layer. In my experience, others might find something different, but in my experience, if you get rid of the garbage, remove this and then save this file, you get a better comp. So that's how I would do it. I would get rid of this layer, I would save this, and then in game there should be no shininess where all this mud is at. This might not be quite 100% accurate because a lot of this looks like it's mudded together here and stuff. You get as fine of a detail as you need to get when you go through that phase of adjusting this. And if you get down close, a lot of that stuff is together. So you should be fine. You maintain these areas of softness and darkness. Same goes in the comp file. When you look in here, you get down, you see there's a lot of shading and stuff in there going on, and you kind of want that. So it's something to play with. But if I focus back out, you see all the areas where all the mud's at. Now, if you ask me, trying to do this in 2D painting, almost impossible. You could do it if you know where all the pieces are and how to interconnect all this stuff. But anyways, I hope that helps get you going along the way to set up your stuff. I'm not going to save this, so I'm going to just go ahead and close this. No, I don't want to save that. And I don't want to save that. And I don't want to save this. No. Close out of Photoshop. I've closed out of everything else. Nothing's been affected on that other than to show you how to do that. Doing your tires and wheels, I didn't really set up to show you how to do that. but it's you gotta go get your UVs up, and one of the important things. See, I don't know if I can bring this up. Never tried this. Nope, not while I'm filming. I can't do that. Let me go into here. Let's go down to my new paint. Bear with me for a minute. I should have had this up on the desk. Let's go down to 3 Wilga. My mud. Let's see, mud current Wilga. Where's the mud pack? Let's see. Current Wilga sets. Nope. Mudworks. Nope. Did I move it out here? I must have moved it out. Sorry about that. Dusty mud. Current Wilga sets. Wilga work. I don't know what I did with it. Let's just look in here. Alright, mud, here we go. Mudworks. Tundra tires. Okay. Base color. Let's look at these first. Alright. Yep. So this is basically, I went into Belender and I made my own plate for the wheels that are on the Wilga. This is one set and the pink's another set. Let's see, do I have one set up? I should have it set up. These are the 35s. I'll open this up to give you an idea. Here we go. That's just a straight DDS ready to go into. Yep, that's a DDS. That's how the mud tires look. You can see the detail that I went into. Let me close out of here and go back down here to, let's see, maybe this is, there we go. Here's the layers. So, if I turn, let's see, alright, turn this guy on. Are these all the same? Alright, so that was the base set. And then I built the other, separated out. There's the, let's see, that was there. That's just the plain old set there. I think if I go turn on Disney. No, I don't have. So you turn this off, turn these on. Will that give it to me? Talking to myself here. Alright, let me move this up above. Nope. I must have set these up. Yep, I already got these set up differently. I have a different file here. That's all that, yeah. Let's see, I have a different file set up. Basically, I've got a file set up to where I've got my writing here underneath, and I could adjust it. This is an earlier set, I believe, because you see how far down the mud is. Let me look at my files real quick. Like I said, this is getting a little long. May stop here. That's the comp. Yeah. AC base. That's a different try. Let's take a look in here and see what I got. Oh, this is, I was trying to get the, this is where I was trying to get the, you see the mud here on the the caps and the hubs and stuff where I was down here trying to get the mud into there. Maybe a little hard for you to see. No, I don't want to save changes. Go back. Kind of fun going back to this stuff and looking and trying to remember what the heck you did. Here's set 2. Alright, this should be... this is the base color. This is the PNG. Let's try this. Alright. Okay, this has got the individual. Alright. This is where I threw different mud in and things like that. Now, if I was to turn this off. Yep. Okay, so I have everything in layers here. If you see the mud, I've gotten a little closer to the line where these are molded together as far as the 3D object, where it's been pulled apart onto your UVs. Going in and trying to match these two textures here to where they will meet up right when they go in. You can do this in Blender. Get your basics done and then go into Blender and then add a little bit of mud here and make it look like this seamless. I've also got, let's see here. I've got each one of, there's the lettering for the tires. Got that underneath so that it overlays just right. I've also got each one of the tires. I can turn those on or off. The mud and stuff expansions that I did on it. Extended it out. Alright. Dump. So forth. Yep. That's a wider set. This was what I'm messing with. Kind of hard to see. Go back here. Come on, quit jumping around. Hit the right one. There we go. Alright. This was a lot wider. It wiped out most of the lettering. I didn't care for that, so I finally came in and adjust. I basically separate out each one of these. Let's see if I can go here. Boom, boom, boom. Turn these down. I'm going to go just to this guy. I'm going to go Control T. I'm on this one down here. And basically, I can adjust the size in or out, whatever I need to. Control Z. Let's see, get back down here. Let's see if I click on it and then hold the Shift key down, it goes there. That's not working. Why is you not working? Control Z. Well, it used to work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Control T. Let's see. Is it Control? Okay. Aha. Alt. There it is. Alt key. It stretches it out laterally. So if I wanted to stretch this out and get a little closer to the outer line of the template, I could bring the template back in and bring it down underneath and Control T. Alright, now get back on that layer, Control T. Alright, and I can, let's see, I don't want to do that, Control Z, Z. Alright, yeah. See, with that on, I can stretch it in or out and get it down to, right down to that edge and move it around as I need to. I can also go change my opacity down a little bit so it's shining through, and I make sure that I get everything centered right. I could go out just a little bit more. Get right to the very edge here. And then bring my opacity back. I can get rid of this. And yeah. That gives you an idea of what I was attempting to do. I'm out over the letters a little, but I'm also overhanging the tread over here, so you got to watch out for that stuff. Anyways, I hope that gave you an idea of, my process. Take all this out and go back into where I was at the very beginning and just close this down. No, I don't want to save anything. And that's how I do things. I hope this will help someone. If you got stuck on something, I'm usually on Discord, so fire me off a message. I'll do the best I can to answer you. I might do a video on how I do dust. Dust is it's technically easier, but it's a little more complicated. And especially if you're doing it over a metal, bare metal, because now you're messing with the metalness, and you get to a point where you just go to a flat gray and there's no metalness to it, and so you have to play with the comp a little differently. Anyway, hasta la vista. I hope that helped you all out, and that'll be the end of it for me today.